This video is sponsored by Car Vertical. Don't forget to use my promo code HIGHPEAK for 20% off each and every check that you do. Hello and welcome back to more High Peak. Well, I'm not at my desk today, we're actually driving through France. We're on a road trip, we're taking a Mercedes CLK and a Suzuki Splash all the way down to Spain. But I just thought that it'd be really relevant to do this video because as obvious as this sounds, being in France, I've seen an awful lot of French cars. And although I'm not a massive fan of French cars, as I've mentioned in many videos, some don't look half bad. I've seen loads of French cars that we just don't get in the UK either, and some look really good. For example, the Renault Talisman, the new Renault Espace looks really good, the new Renault Scenic. I can't believe how good they look. So I thought it'd be appropriate today to go through some of my favourite French cars that I've bought over the years. Some of these have been pretty good. I guess even a broken clock's right twice a day, isn't it? Because of the sheer number of French cars you see here in France, it just made me think, I wonder if the cars, or the French cars that we get in the UK, are slightly inferior. I wonder if they're built by the apprentices or something on a Friday afternoon. Over here you see loads of old French cars and they're still going strong. This morning, for example, getting a coffee and some breakfast, I saw an old Citroen Xantia, I saw an old Renault 4, I saw an old Peugeot 405. You just don't see these in the UK anymore. They've all rusted away. And it isn't a climate thing either because they get plenty of rain here as well. But anyway, let's get on to my favourite French cars. So the first one on this list is the Citroen C6. Now, I really like the C6, mostly because it's very weird. It really doesn't follow the crowd, it's done its own thing. Now the C6 is a really unusual car, and I like unusual. It was created to be Citroen's luxury offering. Even the president used one. I bought a Citroen C6 that you're going to see very shortly, and considering their presidential status, I got it very cheaply. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I'm quite excited actually because I've just bought a very rare car. I've never owned one of these cars before. In fact, no, I think I'm right in saying I've never driven one. I've never even been in one. And that's quite unusual for me. I've been trying to get one of these cars on the channel for some time now, but it just hasn't happened because they're so rare. Anyway, a couple of days ago, my brother got a message on Instagram with all the details of this car, so he forwarded them to me and I said, yes, immediately, buy it. So that was it, I agreed to buy it. He kindly dealt with it all for me, which of course means I haven't actually seen the car yet for myself, but I do know a few bits about it. For example, it's an early 2007 56 Citroen C6. It's got the 2.7 litre turbo diesel V6. I think it's an executive model. It's automatic. I don't know actually if they're all auto. Some might have been manual, I'm not sure. Like I say, this is new territory for me, so I really don't know. I can't even remember the last time I saw one of these cars on the road. They're as rare as hen's teeth. Also, it's done around 126,000 miles, which sounds like a lot, but it's an 18-year-old car, this, so it's not that high, really. The previous owners owned it for around 10 years, so I'm hoping that means it's been looked after and cherished. And the best part, I've only paid £750 for it. 750 quid for such a rare French luxury car. Shall we go and see it in the flesh and maybe take it for a drive? Right, I'll see you there. Well, we're here. Oh, that's so weird. I'm genuinely really excited about this. I know it's only £750, but it's just so odd. Why did Citroen ever make such a car? I mean, it's like their interpretation of a luxury car, but it's almost like a modern interpretation of the old DS. It's just so odd. Do you remember? It's just come back to me this actually. There was a piece on Top Gear, and they used those as like a film tracking car for the horse racing. Do you remember? I'm sure there was a piece on Top Gear. It might have been 5th gear. Correct me if I'm wrong. We've even got the old tax disc holder. Now, predictably, it is crying out for a new set of plates and a headlamp buff, which is always music to my ears. That's quite a tidy car, you know, for 120,000 miles and 18 years old. It's quite tidy. We've got a black leather interior, black exterior. I'm quite pleased. What I'm going to do with it? Might keep it. Shall I keep it? Right, before we do any more then, let me do a thorough vehicle history check using Car Vertical. Now, it's really easy to use. All you do is go to carvertical.com and then type in the reg, or the VIN. It's as easy as that. Let me show you then. So this is the Car Vertical homepage. Let's type in the reg. So, LB, so it's a London car originally, 56, X-Ray Charlie, Oscar. Check vehicle. Now what this is doing is checking database in 35 different countries. It isn't just a UK thing, so it'll tell you if it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. It doesn't take long either, it's just loading the report. In addition to that, it shows you the ownership changes, the MOT history, the average market value, the full spec of the car. It's a really handy feature, this. And it isn't expensive. And this week, it's even cheaper than usual. They've got a Cyber Monday offer on. So if you use the promo code CM, that's CM, Cyber Monday, you'll save yourself 30% off each and every check that you do. Right, the report's ready. So, view report. Ah, right. Here then, straight away, we've got an amber warning for the odometer. So this might have had its mileage tampered, or, which is often the case, this to be honest, it's probably a typo. We'll try and do some detective work ourselves. But there's no outstanding finance, there's no recorded accident damage, and it's never been stolen, so that's all good. Right, beware, this vehicle may have fake mileage. So last known mileage was 126. Now the Car Vertical Insight, it says, it seems this vehicle wasn't being used for a while. There may be good reason, but it's still useful to learn the facts. Right, so it done 126 in November last year, so it's got a short MOT this, I'm going to have to get that done. Now it's fairly steady every single year, so there's nothing suspicious there. But if we look here, if we go back to January 2010, it had done 29,000 miles. Then in March 2010, it had suddenly done 48,000 miles, which is impossible. That isn't possible to do so many miles in 3 months. So it's obviously a typo. That's the issue. Because if you look then back in June 2010, it had only done 30. So I imagine someone's just typed in the wrong mileage there, or perhaps typed in the kilometre mileage rather than the, the mileage. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's been tampered with at all, to be honest. I think it's just a typo. Now the average market price for such a vehicle is £3,743, and I pay just £750 for this, so I can't really go wrong, can I? What else? It's a 201 horsepower automatic, 6-speed auto. It shows the recalls. Right, okay then. So the ownership changed in 2013, December of. So that's right. Failed, passed, failed, passed. Okay, right. So at its last MOT in November last year, there were 2 advisory items on the front brake disc. That's it. That's all right, isn't it? Might have had a result with this. I might, as they say, have swum the channel. Let's go and have a look, shall we? Well, the first bit of good news is we've got both sets of keys. Typical French key. That one's broken. It's being held together with a rubber band, but we can fix that. And that one is in full working order. Très bien, as they say in France. Oh, I'm such a geek. I hate myself. Right, let's go and look at this C6. Quite a nice day today. Sun's out. There's no wonder grip van though. What on earth is going on? Makes me concerned. Right, round the back then we've got a unknown brand. We've got a Rotella, never heard of it. But on the bright side, it's on about 5mm of tread. The wheels could do with being refurbished. The brake discs look a little bit ropey. Now I don't advise the brake discs on the front, but those back ones look a bit worn out as well. They're not bad wheels though. They're so weird. Look at the shape of that. We've got this sort of concave rear screen. Wouldn't like to pay for a new one of those. And then a funny looking boot lid. It's not pretty, but it's just, I don't know, it's so weird. It's kind of cool. I think you'll be in agreement, to be fair, with that. On the front, have we got a matching Rotella? Oh, we do actually. That's all right then. That's on about 4mm of tread, so that's pretty good. And the brake discs do indeed look a little bit grim. I think we're into a full set of discs and pads on this. Quite straight on the panels though. There are no dents, no signs of obvious paint, no orange peel. Headlamps will buff back, I'm pretty sure of that. And the xenons actually. It's got its original West London Citroen plates. I don't know how much this would have been back in 2007, but I imagine 30 grand, maybe more. Quite tidy this. I was looking out then for stone chips on the bonnet, because you'd think with 126 on it, it'd be peppered, and it isn't really. It could do with a good buff though. The sun is shining down on this now, and you can see loads of little fine scratches, but they will come out. Round this side, we haven't got a Rotella, we've got a Winrun. Never heard of it. And again, the brake disc is, well, has seen better days, I think. Yeah, this would definitely benefit from a good old buff. Got the rotor. Oh, this is the highest tax bracket. That's unfortunate, isn't it? So back in 2015, it would have cost £485 a year, but of course that is now something like £735 a year to tax a £750 car, which is obviously daylight robbery, isn't it? And I think with the new budget incoming any day, I think that'll increase even more. We've got another Rotella, so we've got 3 Rotellas and 1 Winrun. Right, more brands that I'd never heard of. It's quite tidy though, this. In fact, very tidy. Very tidy. Can't even see any dents, which for such a big barge like this, you'd expect some. My folding mirrors work on the unlock button, so that's good. How do I get in the boot? Does anyone know? Oh. Right, we've got a whole host of spare parts here. We've got a V5 there. That worries me slightly. French electrics aren't the best, are they? And okay, right. We've got some spare parts, some mats, some discos de freno there. Tenemos discos de freno. Right, we've got new brake discs. We've got a wheel bearing kit. What else? C6 rear ABS. Okay, right. Well, that's good. What about under here? Is there any sort of spare wheel or not? Oh, there is. Wow, that's heavy, right. Well, if the previous owners bought those for the front, that's going to save me some money, isn't it? So that is a result, really. And we've got what looks like suspension bushes and stuff there. So that's good. Right. Well, I shall tell my mechanic then, or ask, not tell, I don't tell anyone. I shall ask my mechanic to sift through these parts and see which parts need fitting. I've just noticed, like, I know this car's weird, but look at the position of the boot struts and the hinges. How odd. Something loose in here, actually. Got a screw loose. And I think you all knew that already. Oh, pillarless. Look at this. It gets better. Everyone loves a pillarless door, don't they? We've got double glazed windows, or, you know, I always get this wrong, and then I'm always told in the comments, oh, they're not double glazed, they're just double laminated, or some such nonsense anyway. However, we've got some frost in there. Oh, look at this, is fancy, right. Look at that for storage. That's over-engineered, isn't it? Then in there we've got, is that an ashtray, being French, is that? I don't know, not really sure. It's very clean though, very clean. We've got nice rubber mats, loads of legroom here, loads of legroom. We've got cigarette lighters, obviously, because it's still cool to smoke in France. What else? It smells clean. I'm really impressed with this so far. Got a nice armrest, we've got a ski hatch there. And then down up here, this is for the three-point seatbelt thing in the middle. Well, that's quite good. It is very clean, this. Very clean. Let's get to the front then, shall we? Okay, what have we got then? We've got more of these funny door storage compartments. That's quite good. We've got some more storage down here. Somewhere for your pan au chocolat. In here we've got some storage. Got plenty of things in there. Ah, there's ashtray. There's cigarette lighters everywhere. Like a car designed for Noel Coward. Right, let's have a look at service history, because I didn't even think to check this, because I wasn't that bothered. I was sold on the idea. So I thought, for £750, can't complain. We've got electric seats on both sides. We've got a head-up display system. We've got an auto-dimming rear view mirror. This was some car back in its day, wasn't it? Anyway, service history. Let's have a look, shall we? So the first owner was a business registered in London somewhere. Right, some sort of management car then, this, isn't it? I imagine. I've just seen plenty of stamps here, so let's... I wonder if this has ever had a timing belt, because this old 2.7 litre turbo diesel engine is the same 2.7 turbo diesel that you'd get in Jaguar and Land Rovers. And I know the timing belt was due at 8 years or 106,000 miles. So it was done by Citroen at 20, then 40, then Citroen CX for sale.com at 48. It's a bit vague. Okay, another one at 58, all in the same pen here, which is a bit suspicious. Borough cars, Peterborough. Replace gearbox, oh that's not good is it? Replace gearbox and an aircon regas, it was done in 2012. Williams Minis, Peterborough, replace offside bottom arc, okay, very good. We've got some more here, new battery, another one at 64, 4x4 specialist, 79. You know, if you're going to fake history, at least change the colour of the pen. Come on. Did you never write a get out of gym letter at school? Right, I think that's it then, isn't it? So there is some history, but not as comprehensive as I was hoping, really. And no mention of a timing belt. Let's pull the bonnet latch and have a look, shall we? I'm just really intrigued by this. I don't really want to get out of it. That's all fairly sort of standard of Peugeot Citroen of this era. But then we've got some sort of weird dash down here. We've got buttons everywhere. And it's very comfortable straight away. You need the power on for those to work. So yeah, if it hasn't had its timing belt done, it's going to need it. And that's about £600 on one of these. It's quite an expensive job. More pillarless doors. A very stylish car, this. I was hoping to see some sort of sticker here to say cam belt done 2 years ago, but I can't see anything so far. Of course, everything's covered in plastic, so you can't really see an awful lot. It does look quite genuine though. It's not overly clean, which is good. Okay, no leaks of any description that I can see. Chassis legs look straight. Right, well that all looks fine. And of course the bonnet struts are good. They're all fine. I think we need to fire this up then, don't we? You know, when I agreed to buy this for £750, I had no idea. I don't think we need any of that, do we? Not really in keeping with the Citroen C6, is it, that sort of music? It's doing 100. Oh, we've got a slightly noisy starter motor, which, incidentally, and difficult power steering. Very notchy that, and you can hear it. It might just be low on fluid. However, it might need a new pump or something. On the bright side, my electric seats work, so that's good. Good news about the seats. Oh yeah, look at that. We've got memory seats, lumbar support, that's good. Windows work. 1, 2, 3, 4, all work, right. We're in luck. Yeah, it's a nice clean car, this. Even the headlining's in good order, actually. It's not bad at all. Not bad, right. I imagine my air conditioning will work because there was a bill in there to have it regassed. Got this little weird gauge cluster down there. I don't know whether you'll be able to see that on the camera or not. Yeah, the power steering is a concern because it's making a right racket. The engine sounds sweet though. There's not really much more I can tell you then, is there? I suppose. We've got a button here for the sport because of course there's got some sort of weird suspension. In fact, should we play around with it? Should we try and break it? Try and raise it, shall we? Up, in progress. I think it's quite slow progress, this, in fairness. Do we get out and have a look? Does it look a bit... Does it look raised? Oh yeah, look at that. It's jacked right up, isn't it? And then should we try it down? What's happening now then? Normal position, okay. Down in progress. Oh yeah, look at that, you can feel it. Oh yeah, we're leveling up. Well, I'm impressed. And then yeah, look at that. Well, I think I've got a bit of a bargain here, even if it does have heavy power steering. Let's get it back to normal then. My air conditioning's working, that's all good. We know Radio 1 works because it gave me a headache already. We've got sport mode, we've got snow, we've got cruise control. Then down here, then we've got the controls for the head-up display. So if I press that, does that work or not? Well, so far then my head-up display isn't working, but I'm not complaining. Should we take this for a spin? Because, like I say, I've never driven one of these cars, so I'm quite excited. Should we get out on the road? Let's do it. Right then, first I'm driving a Citroen C6. Quite like the gear lever, big chunky thing. How do I release the handbrake? Does anyone know? Oh, there it is. There we go, right, we're off. Steering's very noisy. Hopefully it's just low fluid. My seat's getting warm, I don't know how to turn that off. Ah, there we go, the little dial. Can't tell whether that's on or off. We'll try it. Try it. So far, it's very smooth. So what do we know about it then? It needs the wheels refurbishing, so I'll have to take it to Prestige Wheels. It needs a very good buff, so I'll have to get Jimmy involved for that. Order some new reg plates for it. In addition to that, it needs a service and an MOT. We know the MOT runs till November, so that's very short, so I'll have to get that done. Okay, I think what I've done is increase the heat of my seat there because I'm sweating. I think I'll give it a service. I'll ask my mechanic to fit those brake discs and fit all those suspension components. And also while it's down there, I'll get him to sort this steering out because it's a bit like the French themselves. It's protesting a little bit too much. And we're away, right. Oh, she's got some power. 200 horsepower. Oh, sounds good actually. Smooth. This is a bit of a design flaw, but when the sun hits that little gauge cluster, you can't see a thing. Yeah, it feels very loose. Whenever I go over a bump or a pothole, it feels very sort of knocky. So obviously I need to replace all those suspension bushes and stuff in the back. Are you just pulling out here? Thank you. Drives alright then. Quite pleased with this. This honestly is like, it's a cliche this, but I've been sat on a sofa. Oh, look at this. They are the least sort of ergonomically friendly buttons to adjust the seat. Oh yeah, just need a cigarette on now, don't I? Feel all French, relaxed. Also what I might do is ask my brother to message the seller and see if he had the cam belt done. If he's had it since 2013, he must have had the cam belt done, mustn't he? I hope he has, otherwise it's going to cost me the best part of 600 quid. I don't know what I'm going to do with this car, but I really like it. I haven't really got anywhere for it, and it's about 6 meters long. It's quite cumbersome, but they're just really rare, aren't they? If I sell this, when am I ever going to get another? And I think, ladies and gents, that's all the reason anyone ever needs, isn't it? Kind of irreplaceable, this, in a way. What should we do first then? I think we might as well just head straight down to my mechanics and let her crack on with the work. Give it a service, give it an MOT, fit the new brake discs. I think we're going to need rear brake discs as well, to be honest. I think I'm going to have quite a substantial bill with this, possibly sort of £600, something like that, to get through a clean MOT and a clean service. But at that point, it should at least drive better. You know, it won't be knocking every time I go over a bump. So I think I'll do that. I can't believe the condition. Like you'd expect 127,000 miles, you'd expect the seats to be all worn. They're just not. I shall make inquiries about the cam belt. If it needs one, I'll have to do one. I'll get it to Prestige and do the wheels. I'll get it to Jimmy's and buff it, buff the headlamps. I'll call Harrods and get some plates. This will be a nice little project, this. Honestly, I can't tell you how happy I am with this. I'm just really pleased. Well, I'm going to drop this down at my mechanics, so leave it with me for... Well, I always say this, I don't know why I make such a big deal about this. I always try and guess how long it's going to take me, when for you guys, it's going to take you 10 seconds, isn't it? So, I'll see you in 10 seconds. There is even, this flies, you know. Really pins you into your seat. And in addition to that, when you sting it, there's no black smoke. Pretty good. And we're back in my lovely rare Citroen C6, and it's all finally prepared and ready for sale. And I must say, it looks $1 million. Or should I say £1,000,000 francs? Anyway, regardless of currency, it looks really good. It's been quite a lengthy process, this one, just because everyone I use is busy. But we got there in the end. After we last spoke, I took this down to my mechanic for a service and MOT and asked them to fit all those parts in the boot. It needed some suspension work on the front. It was quite clunky and knocky every time you went over a bump. And now, you ready for this? all sorted. Once those few parts were fitted and the service was done, it sailed through its MOT with not a single advisor item, which is pretty good going, isn't it, for a 18, 19-year-old car with 127,000 miles on the clock. It just backs up my theory that the previous owner, who had this car for 10 or 12 years, did genuinely look after it. I found out as well that he had a cam belt replacement, so that's good news. One less thing to worry about. When it was finally done at my mechanics, I picked it up and I took it over to Prestige Wheels in Bredbury, who refurbished the wheels. So they stripped them, repaired them, and then powder coated them, and they look as good as new. They were a bit battered and scruffy looking, but now they look really good. They've done a really good job. So at that point I had a Citroen C6 that had a clean MOT and a nice set of wheels, but the whole car still looked a bit flat, a bit sorry for itself. So I was thinking I'd probably take it down to Jimmy the Magician for a good buff and also ask him to buff the headlamps, but he was really busy, so instead I took it to Tameside Detailing. They carried out what's known as a stage 1 polish, so they spent hours toiling over this. It was definitely worth it though. I picked it up from there this morning and under their lights it looked almost as good as new. He said as well it was all original paint barring that rear quarter. That's the only panel that's ever been painted on this car, the rest is completely original. Bit of a bonus, isn't it? Whilst it was there, they also gave it a proper valet, so the inside's nice and clean. They also detailed the engine bay. So I'm really pleased with this car now. I've spent quite a lot on it. Bear in mind I only paid £750 for the car. I've exceeded that in my spend. But we can't dwell on that. I've just taken this back to work and I've got some photographs of it outside my gates, so it's ready to be advertised, but I'm not really sure how much to advertise it for. I suppose the next step really, the next logical step, is to pull over, somewhere scenic I suppose, why not? And I'll talk you through my costs. Then we'll try and work out what I can advertise it for. I'm thinking maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 4 grand. Is 3995 a bit greedy? I don't know. It's quite a rare car this, and it's now one that's, you know, fully sorted. It's only had 3 owners, the cam belt's been replaced, service history is very good, and it now certainly looks the part, so I don't know if 3995 is too greedy. It drives really well. If I had the space and the free cash, I'd probably just keep it, but I don't really at the moment, so I think I need to rehome it, rehouse it. Right, here we go then. Turn off capital, turn off engine. Let me get my calculator out then. So I paid £750 for the car. The wheels at Prestige cost me £336. The bill at Tameside Detailing was £280. What else? Oh, my mechanic bill, the big one. So oil filter, oil, front brake pads it needed. Also it needed an offside front bottom ball joint cover. It needed a near side and offside front drop links. They've also schultzed it underneath, which is like a wax oil thing just to protect it. Some labour and an MOT test fee. Now the labour was quite steep because they fitted some of those parts in the boots. So my total bill was £684.99. 684.99. I haven't bothered yet replacing the number plates. I might do, but then when I looked, they were the original Citroen plates from London somewhere. So it seemed a bit sort of like sacrilege really to replace those. I might do that because there's a little bit of rust seeping down on the front one from its rusty screw. What else? I think that's it really. I think that's it. So this car currently owes me £2,050.99. So maybe thinking about it, 3995 is a bit greedy. Might try 3495 because at 3495 it still leave me just under £1,500 profit, which is pretty good going, isn't it? I think I'll do that, you know. Yeah, 3995's a little bit greedy. Doesn't sit well with me, that. But yeah, that's about it. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like I've forgotten something. I don't think I have, to be honest. I don't think I have. If I do remember something, I'll make an amendment to this video. But if you don't hear from me again, then that's it. £2,050. So another job well done, really. I'm quite pleased. So that was the Citroen C6. I eventually sold that for a profit. You know, weirdly, a couple of weeks ago, I got a message from somebody on Instagram and they said that, hey, you know that Citroen C6 that you bought and filmed with? It's back up for sale. So the guy that I sold it to obviously had enough of it and decided to move it on. I did consider buying it back, but I didn't. I showed some restraint for once. Anyway, on to the second one on today's list. Now, it wasn't just Citroen making cars for French presidents. Renault did it too with the Vel Satis. Now, I always liked the Vel Satis. It was a really weird car. They even offered it with a 3.5 litre V6, the same V6 that you got in the Nissan 350Z. It was such a strange car and I loved it. You know, from a distance it looked like any old standard French hatchback, but it was actually quite a big car and it was very luxurious. This next one that you're about to see, I bought quite cheaply. It was low mileage, but unfortunately it didn't have that 3.5 V6 petrol. This one instead was a 2.2 litre turbo diesel. Anyway, it was still quite a nice car. But I won't ruin it anymore, you'll have to take a look. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today we're going to collect possibly the rarest car ever to feature on this channel. What I've bought is a 2006 Renault Vel Satis. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. Being French, it's probably something like... Shall I do the accent? I'll do the accent. Renault Vel Satis, but I don't know. Anyway, a Vel Satis is what it sounds like in Northern. I'm really excited about this. I've never owned one before. I've never been in one, I've never driven one, and that rarely happens. I buy and sell 500-600 cars a year, so it's really rare that I buy something nowadays that I've never had before. I honestly can't even remember the last time I saw one. They are that rare. I got an email from a viewer a couple of weeks ago asking if I wanted to buy this Vel Satis, and it belonged to his late grandfather. It's only done 57,000 miles, it's a 2006, it uses a 2.2 litre turbo diesel, and it's a manual. I instantly said yes, because, well, I think you'd do the same, wouldn't you? How could I turn down something as rare as this? I'd have done the same thing had it been a Citroen C6 or a Renault A110. They're just the quintessential French car. They're just weird. Price-wise, it was quite a difficult one to value. We agreed £2,000 for it in the end, which sounds like an awful lot of money for a 18-year-old French car, but for a Vel Satis that's as rare as this, I don't think that's too dear. The transport company that I always use went over to Yorkshire yesterday to collect it, and it's been delivered for me on my car park. So, although I've seen photographs of it, I haven't actually seen it in the flesh. Now, if you don't know anything about the Renault Vel Satis, then you really need to get out more, don't you? You loser. Allow me to furnish you with some information then. Now, this was Renault's idea of a luxury car. Can you believe that? It was available from 2002 until 2009, and roughly 6 people bought them. That's why they're so rare. It was a flop. In fact, listen to this. Renault reportedly lost €18,000 on every single Vel Satis they sold. That's good business, isn't it? Sounds like something I'd do. Now, even weirder still, you could have bought the Vel Satis with a 3.5 litre petrol V6, or a 3 litre turbo diesel, or a 2 litre diesel, or a 2.2. Now, the one I bought today is the 2.2, so it is quite sensible. In case you're wondering about the name, you might think that it's the name of some sort of French town or, French person, but it isn't. It's supposed to be a combination of the words velocity and satisfaction. How odd. Anyhow, as you can probably tell, I'm struggling to contain my excitement here. Eek, as they say in text. Let's go and have a look then, shall we? I'll see you there. Well, we're here. It's an ugly thing, that, isn't it? Very ugly, but I love it. How cool is that? I just can't remember the last time I saw one. Thinking about it, when I used to live in Spain, the Guardia Civil used to run them. Not all of them, but they would use the Vel Satis. Not really sure why. I suppose it probably makes quite a good traffic car, doesn't it? Big, spacious, and with a 3 litre diesel, quite torquey. It's in good condition, that, for a 2006 car. The plates are from Hampshire originally, but the plates actually say they're from Alton Cars Barnsley. Headlamps could do with a buff. Wow, it's ugly. It has got a face only its mother could love. Right, let's do a vehicle history check then, as always, using Car Vertical. That's really easy to use. All you do is go to carvertical.com and you just type in the VIN or the reg. Now in this case it is Hotel Kilo 06 Uniform Sierra Victor, check vehicle. What this does is it checks databases in dozens of countries, 35 countries to be precise, and it'll tell us whether it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback, or has outstanding finance on it. It's really important that you do one of these checks before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorcycle. It can just prevent you buying a complete lemon. It only takes a couple of minutes, as you can see, and then it will furnish us with all the details. What's clever about this as well, if it has been involved in an accident or it's been for sale previously, sometimes it shows photographs of the accident damage or the listing when it was for sale. I can't think of a single other check that does that, so it is quite thorough. Oh, by the way, with my promo code, you used to get 10% off, now you get 20% off. So my promo code is HIGHPEAK, all one word, all lowercase, and you get 20% off each and every check that you do. Alternatively, click the link below in the video description. Right, and the report's ready. So, let's have a look then. That is a Renault Vel Satis diesel. It's never been clocked, there's no outstanding finance, it's never been damaged, and it's never been nicked. Perfect. The last known mileage, wow, this hasn't done many miles, has it? Since 2020, June 2020, it's done 1,500 miles. So in June 23, it done 57,597, and then 500 miles each year prior to that. It's fairly steady as well. That is very low mileage, isn't it, for a car of that age? It's a 2.2 diesel front-wheel drive, 4-cylinder, 6-speed, 5-door. We've got a level of equipment there as well. Very good. So it was manufactured in 2005. It was first registered in June 2006. Then the ownership changed. Then it was inspected. Lots of inspections. Very good. It's had a plate change. That must have been when the previous owner had it then, because the plate's just been taken off. Very good. Right, we're all clear. Let's go and have a look around it then, shall we? I'm excited. Let's go and have a look then. So we've got only one key for now. It's quite a small key, that, you know. Not as big as like a equivalent Megane or a Spas or something. But I'm told there's a second one due any day in the post. I won't hold my breath, but I've got no reason to doubt it. It's not a bad colour actually, is it? Quite like that. I spotted a little bit of damage down here straight away. Someone's touched in there, but I can live with that. That isn't the end of the world on a car like this. Tyres then, what have we got? We've got a front two full run. Don't think I've heard of that before, but it's on about 6 mil, so that's pretty good. The rear discs look a little bit crusty, but it's been parked up for a couple of years, hasn't it? There's a little bit of rust there, there's a bit of snot there. That's weird because they're plastic doors. Look at that. We even got rear blinds like you get in a 7 Series. Like I said, this was Renault's idea of a luxury car. So, a bit bizarre, isn't it? Leave it to the French. This one is a Mazzini, sounds Italian. That's on about 4 or 5 mil, I suppose. That's pretty good. The wheels look okay, not too bad. Moving around front, this is where it gets even uglier. Look at that front grille. I think I'll buff the headlamps because they'll come up bright. We've got a matching Mazzini on this side. That's a result, isn't it? And then bodywork's all right on this side, that's fine. We've got a couple of stickers there. Angling Trust. Oh, another one there. Very good. Another blind in the rear window. And we've got a matching front two full run on this side. So, same on each axle. It's a result. They're not Michelin's or Pirelli's, but on an 18-year-old Renault, I'll take that. At least they've got plenty of tread. Let's stand on this little wall and get a proper view of it. It's actually, I don't think, too bad from the back, is it? In terms of styling. It's got that mid-2000s, you know, Renault bottom. It's got an Evans Holshaw plate on the back and then an odd one on the front, so I think I'll fully high peak autos it up. We've got rear parking sensors, that's a good sign. Right. Remote locking works. How do I get in the boot? That one there. Look at this. Look at the size of the boot on that. The struts still work, that's good. Bit of an awkward shape that, isn't it? We've got a boot liner, which I always like to see. Someone's got a bit of pride. It's a nice clean car, this. Oh, there we go. Is that a soft close boot that I just heard? It bloody is. What else do you want to see then? Should we look in the back? Bear in mind this is an executive car. Look at the legroom. I feel like Nicolas Sarkozy. Sarkozy? Honestly guys, look at the legroom though in this. I'm amazed. Down here we've got some vents and some heater controls. That's always quite good. In an exec car, we've got the blinds, as I mentioned previously. We've got a sunroof. Look at that. Very good. Got some controls here for the lights. Very nifty, isn't it? These seats are comfortable though. I'll tell you that for nothing. Down here we've got a nice armrest because you've got 3 seats here, bear in mind. But we've got a cup holder there for your Orangina. And some more storage. It's all nicely finished, this. We've got as well an ashtray, obviously because French, And the audio system is Tronic. I've never heard of that, but it must be a premium thing, I imagine. Look at the shape of the front seats as well. How odd. I'm a big fan of this already. Can you tell? Moving to the front then. We've got a click and check strap, which is like any French car in the world. That wants tightening or replacing. Oh dear. Maybe replacing. We've got full leather interior then up front. It's all quite grubby, but it will clean. Will clean up this. Seatbelt sort of built into the seat as well, rather than on the B pillar. So we've got electric seats. That's maybe the engine needs to be on, or the ignition at least. They're heated as well. I think we'll leave that on because it's rather cold today. And then the rest is like a Renault Traffic or a Vauxhall Vivaro or something, or a Nissan Prima Star. Some more fun facts for you there. How many of these do you think work? My guess is 2. 2 or 3. Got some pop-out storage there, like an Audi A8. This is a cool thing, isn't it? I do really like this. Let's see what else we can find inside then. Now then, bear in mind I've never been in one of these in my life. That's fairly standard. Standard Renault gear lever, 6-speed. You put the key in there, which we shall do in a second. Pop that in there like so. There we go, and it's sprung into life.
I'm going to say Mother's Day.
Turn off radio 2, can't be bothered with that. Now, that's obviously the radio. Here is somewhere for your sunglasses. Quite deep, that, actually. Right, so we've got climate controls down there, that's all fine. I'll knock this off before my battery gets drained. Down here then, what else have we got? Cruise control buttons, confusingly, the last place you look. An ashtray. Oh. That wasn't me, it was the armrest, honestly. And then down there, we've got a cradle for I don't know what. That is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. What? Why? Why would anyone think that's a good idea? Actually, I suppose it is a good idea. I'll take back everything I've just said. We'll pop this away though. Wonder what phone that was designed for. Some sort of Nokia, won't it? This era. Now we've got owner's manuals, the Vel Satis. Now, Renault service books are usually in the back of the owner's manual, aren't they? But this one isn't the case. Oh wait. Ah, that's a good sign. It's only had 2 owners from new. 1 former keeper. It's unusual, isn't it? According to its last MOT then, there were 2 advisory items. So headlamps, they need buffing, and tyre slightly damaged on the rear, right? Well, they look new. They're my full runs, aren't they? My 442, or whatever they're called. Anyway, right, service history then. Now we're talking. Plenty of stamps here. So it's been done at 21, 31, 39, 47. It was done there at 53 at Wayne's World. 56. So that was its last service. 56,000 miles in September 20. September 20, right. But it's only done 1,000 miles since. We've got another service book there as well, for some reason. It's weird, isn't it? That's the first one then. So the first one was done at 12, and then the rest are in that other book. Someone's obviously lost the book at some point, haven't they? Right, well this is quite good, isn't it? Should we have a look under the bonnet? Proper analogue clock as well, look at that. Oh, my heated seats on. Right, we'll turn that off before my battery runs flat. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, guys, but I'm half tempted just to keep it. Go to car shows with it, all that sort of stuff. I could have gone to Rustival, couldn't I, or Shedfest, which I assume is on again this year. I've already missed Rustival. I wanted to go, but couldn't go. Maybe next year. Where's the bonnet catch on one of these? Does anyone know? There we go. Even that's weird. Quite a long bonnet this, isn't it? Oof. That opened with gusto, didn't it? Someone's repaired the air conditioner at some point. I had it regassed in 2019. That's a good sign. Some more stickers there. Now I could be wrong, but I think this old 2.2 litre diesel engine, I think it's chain driven. I'll have to ask my mechanic. But if it is, then we've got no cam belt to do. That's a proper workout. Someone's put the wrong struts on this, I think. Forget the gym. I could just stand here all day with my Vel Satis. Should we take this for a drive then? Because I'm quite keen to see how this performs. Like I said, I've never even been in one before, let alone driven one. So I am quite excited. Okay then, let's fire up the old Renault. There we go. Electronic parking brake. How do I... Is that how you release it? Oh, there we go. Well, it sounds quite sweet for a diesel. Driving position's good. You sit up high. Visibility's excellent. Let's get it on the road then. So it is done at 57,739. We've got a flashing spanner light, which I think just means it's 4 years overdue a service. The clutch feels quite good. It's not too high like most French cars. Let's wait for my nice comfortable leather seat to warm up because it's quite cold today. Steering feels nice and light, it's not notchy. My locking wheel nuts rattling around in the glove box, but that's about it. The brakes feel a little bit juddery as I came to that junction then, as I came to a stop. Maybe they'll wear off with use, otherwise I'm into a few £100 to replace them. What I'm thinking straight away with this is, it's got a June MOT, so I think I'll run it to my mechanics, give it a full service, not just an oil change, a full service, because it's been 4 years. Get them to run it through a fresh MOT with no advisory items. And what else? Buff the headlamps, change the plates, give it a good valet. They're gonna let me go? No, no, no. Nobody's got any patience. Including me, to be fair. Thank you. Let's see if she's a smoker then. No, it's all right. I was expecting a James Bond style smoke screen as soon as I floored it then. But we're all good. Our mirrors work. We didn't try the windows, did we? 1, 2, 3. A full house. What are the chances? This is quite a decent car then, isn't it? I really like this. Go on, I'll let you cross. Shall I let you in on a bit of a secret? Many years ago when I was a kid, before my parents got into four-wheel drive cars and all that sort of stuff, we were quite a Renault family. My mum had a couple of 11s, I think she had a 20, a 21. My dad had a Renault 19 for a short period, which I quite liked. What else? My auntie had a Renault 5. We were quite a French family. That's why of all the French brands, I do quite like Renault. Anyway, I'm not revealing any more secrets. Pulls all right. I don't know what horsepower this will be. 120, I guess. It should be quite good on fuel as well, shouldn't it? Well, for £2,000, I'm very pleased with this. The thing is, as quirky as it is on the outside, inside it's a 2.2 litre diesel Renault with a 6-speed manual gearbox. It drives like anything else, really. That's not to say bad, you just expect it to be as quirky as the exterior is. The seats are nice and comfortable though, and, oh, they work, they do work. Oh, hang on a minute, hang on, I spoke too soon. Automatic parking brake faulty, and an amber warning light. So I shall get my mechanic to look at that as well. Again, it might just be because it's been sitting for a long time. So this has got like 8-way adjustable seats. I do feel like taking this on a road trip, and I don't know where. France would be the obvious answer, wouldn't it? Where should we go? I just think it'd be a nice, comfortable road trip car, don't you think? Cheap to run, nice and comfortable, and if I give it a full service, it might get me there and back. I think I'll do that, you know. Why not? Why not? I'm my own boss, I can go and do what I like. I think then for now, that's my road test over. So let me get it to my mechanics, get it up on the ramp, pray that it's all right, give it a full service, buff the lamps, all that sort of stuff, and then I shall have an update for you very soon. Hopefully it won't have cost me a fortune. I'm guessing maybe, shall I set a budget? I know whenever I set a budget I always blow it, but my luck's got to change sooner or later, hasn't it? If I set a budget of £500, I think that should be plenty. A full service will be £320 maybe. Buffing the headlamps I could do myself, but I might pay somebody £20 to do it because I'm busy. Sort the handbrake out, yeah, don't know. 500 quid, that sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Wish me luck. And we're back in the Renault Vel Satis, or the Vel Satis. Not quite sure how you pronounce it. It probably isn't that, but we'll go with it. We'll make it work. Anyway, it's all prepared now and ready to go to its new home. It's been quite a long process, this, to be honest. It wasn't initially. It all started out quite positive. Where should we start? Well, like any story, I suppose it's best to start at the beginning, isn't it? After we last spoke, I took this down to my mechanics and I asked for a full service, full engine service, and a clean MOT with no advisory items. I also asked them to look into that handbrake issue. Now, luckily, that was quite a simple fix. The handbrake module or something just needed reprogramming. So it all started out quite well. A couple of days later, my mechanic called me and said, right, that weird Renault you dropped off is all ready. We've done the full service, we've done the MOT. It's got 12 months MOT now with no advisory items. It was quite a clean car, really. Oh, and by the way, we've reprogrammed the handbrake module. Job done. So I thought, right, I've had a right result. Went and paid my bill and it was 300 and something pounds. So I thought, yeah, this'll do. I've still got some profit here. I didn't pick it up there and then. I picked up something else. And then later that day, I asked my brother to go back down to my mechanics and pick up this. I think at the time he was dropping off, it doesn't matter really, but I think he was dropping off his Evoque for something. He had an oil leak or something. I warned my brother that the Vel Satis was a bit weird. The handbrake, for example, takes a bit of getting used to. He hadn't even heard of a Vel Satis before, and he certainly wasn't excited. He wasn't as excited as I was, anyway. Anyway, he called me about 2 minutes later and he said, right, I'm in this Vel Satis, how do you start it? So I said, right, foot on the clutch, press the start button, and then away you go. And then it's just like any other regular car. And he was like, yeah, I've done that, but the clutch won't come back up. As soon as I press my foot on the clutch, it just sank to the floor and it won't come back up. Is there a certain way? He was like, I know you said it was weird, but surely it's not this weird. I was like, right, that doesn't sound normal, does it? So I jumped to my car and went down there, and sure enough, the clutch had completely collapsed. I told my mechanic about this and they said, right, we'll look into that then. It's just one of those things. Who's to know when your slave cylinder suddenly bursts? This is the thing with used cars, you just never know. Had I sold this to a customer and then it happened to them within like the first week, I'd have been a crook, and you can't predict these things, can you? Unfortunately, my mechanic's always busy and this wasn't priority. It hadn't sold or anything, I was just preparing it for sale. So it sat there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks until they finally had time on the ramp to drag it back in and figure out what was wrong with it. I'll explain exactly what they did in a minute when I park up somewhere scenic and I talk you through my costs. But for now, what else did I do? Oh, I had the air conditioning regassed and it took the gas, so that was a result. I fitted some new reg plates. I say I had some new reg plates fitted. I didn't do them myself because I've been away. And that of course explains my slightly tanned appearance. Oh, and then I took it to Tameside Detailing for a full detail clean. I think that was about it. So I'm now back in it and it drives particularly well and it's now fault free. So I got it back to work, I took some photographs of it in front of our signs and I've advertised it for $3,995, which I think is quite a fair price. I'm just slightly concerned though now because I don't think there's an awful lot of profit left. But, I shouldn't say this, but I'm not that bothered really on this occasion. I just wanted a Vel Satis. One, for a video, two, because well, they're weird, aren't they? And I quite like weird. I'm not sure who the demographic is here. I don't know who's going to buy this. It's a large, weird French car, but it's only done 57,000 miles. It's got a chain-driven diesel engine, it drives particularly well, and it's pretty good on fuel, and it's quite luxurious. Sort of typical French, really. There are various rattles and squeaks and all that sort of stuff. Everything you'd expect from a Renault. Look at that, bird of prey there. Right, well, here we'll do then. I've just driven past my new bin that I'm convinced Stockport Council installed just for me. Handbrake. Voila, as they say in France. Now my bills for this are on my phone. So if you remember, I paid £2,000 for this car. £2,000. I'm just trying to think, it's so long ago this, and I bought a million cars since then. I think I had it transported. This is quite poor now. I should have listed this. I think I had it transported and I think it cost me, should we put 150 in for transport? Can't quite remember. It'll be there or thereabouts. So 150 for transport. Then, right, here are my bills then. So my initial bill, which I was quite pleased about, was an MOT test fee, oil filter, oil, air filter, fuel filter, pollen filter, reprogram handbrake module, and labour. So my total was £342.88. 34288. Add that in. Before I forget, we've got £15 for reg plates, we've got £70 for a valet. Then, of course, my luck ran out, didn't it? And I had to put a complete new clutch in it, which cost me £225.50, plus some gear oil at £38, plus labour at £400. Apparently, my mechanic tells me it was a pig of a job, and it was on the ramp for most of the day. So that came to £796.20. 796.20. This is what I thought. So, my grand total for this Renault Vel Satis, velocity and satisfaction, let's not forget the meaning, was, or is, £3,374.08. So if I can sell it for £4,399.95, I will make a profit of around 625 quid before tax and VAT. So it isn't, well, I'm not going to get rich quick, am I? It's about, what's that? About 20%, isn't it? About 18% profit, which isn't bad, can't really complain, but not as great as I thought. You see, had the clutch not collapsed on me, I'd be now looking at a profit of 1,300 quid or 1,400 quid, so that'd be much more like it, wouldn't it? But you never know, the motor trade always throws up surprises, doesn't it? Part of the joys of it. That's why I just love it. Anyway, on that slightly sour note, it is weird, this. It is strange. Well, that was the Renault Vel Satis. Surely one of the weirdest cars to come out of Renault in the last couple of decades. Apart from the Aventine, or the Spider, or the Wind. Actually, there have been quite a few weird Renaults, haven't there? Next up then is another unusual car from another big French brand, Peugeot. This one is a 407 Coupe. I couldn't believe how good or how luxurious this car was. It's always a car that I've kind of dismissed, but when I bought one cheaply, I was just amazed. It almost had like Mercedes level of comfort and luxury. It even had double glazed windows. This really isn't something that I ever expected from a Peugeot, but I was quite impressed. I bought this one quite cheaply and it wasn't without its issues, which you'll soon see. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I bought something very weird and very French. I bought a 2009 Peugeot 407 Coupe, and this one has a 3-litre turbo diesel V6 engine, it's got an automatic gearbox, and a nice leather interior. It really is a great spec, this car. It comes with all sorts of stuff, and back when it was new it would have cost an awful lot of money. But here in 2024, I paid just £900 for it. All that car for less than 1,000 quid. Let me tell you how I came by this car then. I did a video a couple of weeks ago where I mentioned the 406 Coupe, which was designed by Pininfarina, and it's a really good looking coupe. Anyway, after that I got an Instagram message from a guy called Ed down in, I think somewhere in Oxfordshire, and he said that he had a Peugeot 407 Coupe, which of course was the model that replaced the 406 Coupe. Now it's nowhere near as good looking, to be honest, but still very, very unique and interesting. Excuse all these beeps and stuff, I haven't got a clue what's going on with this car, I'm still getting to grips with it. He sent me a few photographs of it and it looked alright. There are a few little areas of body damage, but nothing too serious. So then I called the transport company I always use. They went down to Oxfordshire somewhere, collected it, brought it back up north. And I haven't actually seen it yet in the flesh. I just thought it was an interesting car, and it seemed like an awful lot of car for just £900. As such, I couldn't really say no, so here we are. I've just got my fingers crossed that it's decent. I'll be honest, I've taken on a little bit of water recently with a few cars that I've bought, so I'm just hoping this one isn't the straw that breaks the camel's back. In fairness, that's been my fault entirely for not going out there and looking at the cars before I hand over the money. That's a little bit naive of me, but I am quite busy. But that's my risk entirely, so sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. It's just part of the job. Anyway, let's go and look at this Peugeot Coupe, shall we? I shall see you there. Right, well here we are then. This is my 2009, late 2009, Peugeot 407 Coupe. It isn't a bad looking car, but it's just the 406 Coupe was a really pretty thing, and this isn't pretty. It's kind of striking, but not pretty. I always thought they were quite futuristic looking. Now Ed told me about a little bit of body damage, so there are a few scratches and marks on the back bumper. That's not the end of the world, is it? Bear in mind this car's done 169,000 miles, so you would expect some marks. He told me that there were some marks on the bottom of the door, which indeed there are. And what else? Oh yeah, a few little marks on the front bumper. But I think, to be honest, once that's polished up and carefully touched in with a matching silver paint, it does take your eye right off it. Let's find out a little bit more about this car then. So, as always, we're going to do a vehicle history check using Car Vertical. So, it's really easy to use. All you do is go to carvertical.com, type in the reg or the VIN. Now, in this case, we know it is, let me hold this up for you so you can see, Lima X-Ray 59, Uniform November Yankee, check vehicle. Now what this does is it checks database in 35 different countries and it checks hundreds of millions of cars. So it'll tell us whether it's ever been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback or has outstanding finance on it. In addition to that, it'll show us the times it's changed owner, the MOT history, any advisory items or fails, all that sort of thing. So it's a really thorough check. It isn't expensive and it's really easy to use. It's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK, and you'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do. Don't forget, that's not just a one-time promo code. That'll work every single time you do a check. And as we've just witnessed, it doesn't take long at all. So there we go, the report's ready. View report. So it's never had a mileage rollback. It's a 2009 Peugeot 407 diesel. Now it's done in finance. There's no recorded damage. It's never been stolen, so that's good. Its last known mileage was 161. That was in March 24. So it was fairly low mileage then, wasn't it? Until it was maybe 7 years old. Then all of a sudden, someone's bought it just to slap a load of miles on. Okay then. The average market price for such a vehicle is 2,800 quid. It's difficult though with this because they're just not out there. They're a really rare car. Automatic diesel. Here we go then. So this shows us all the history. Ownership changed in 2017. What did I just say then about the mileage suddenly rocketing when it was 7 years old? There we go, it's had a change of owner and someone's just done a load of motorway miles in it. Inspection, ownership changed in 20, then it failed an MOT, then it was ownership change again. So we're on a 4-owner car here. Oh, 5 owners. Ownership changed again. Then its last MOT was March this year. There we go, so we know a little bit more about it. I'll get some fresh plates. It's obviously come from London originally with its LX plate. A little bit of rust there on the front wheel arch there, on the front wing, but again I can just daub that in carefully. The wheels are a little bit corroded. Oh yeah, and the passenger side mirror cap wants painting. Someone's obviously repaired that or replaced it at some point, and it isn't the best paint job. Not really sure what I'm going to do with this. I don't know, my eyes kind of lit up with it because it's the 3-litre turbo diesel V6, the same one that was used in Jaguar and Land Rover products. What do I do then? What do I do? I suppose first thing, I better give you a bit of a tour. So we've got a decent branded tyre on the front, on about 4mm of tread. That's pretty good. I'm going to be very busy with my touch-up pen here, aren't I? I'm not complaining. I just think an hour spent on this in the right areas will instantly improve it. On the back we've got a catch power from a company called it's a Landvigator. I've heard of these before. I've just never heard of that model. A catch power. That catch power is on quite low actually. It's on about 2mm of tread. What about this side then? We've got a Transano. Never heard of that. That genuinely is a new one on me. That's quite low as well. A couple of mil I suppose. And up front we've got, so at least the fronts match. And I assume this is front wheel drive, this car. Don't see why it wouldn't. It isn't a bad looking thing though, is it really? Its front, you know, its face was always a bit odd looking, in my opinion. Like one of those kind of dopey fishes you'd see in an aquarium, the big mouth. Anyway, so the bodywork then I can deal with. That isn't the end of the world. We've got 2 sets of keys, that's good. And the power fold mirrors work. That's all good. And then inside, oh look at this. Ed did say he'd had it valeted for me as well, which was nice of him. So we've got a nice leather interior with heated seats, electrically adjustable seats as well. This was some car back in its day. It's automatic. And yeah, like I said, it's done 169,000 miles, but it's in quite good condition. On the interior anyway. This has obviously just been a motorway mile cruncher. We've got an auto dimming mirror, sat nav, Bluetooth, cup holder, but it's broken. Got a very tiny glove compartment there, which is typical of a Citroen or a Peugeot, because that's where the fuse box is located. Now, he did say this was one of the biggest selling points of this car, really. Although it's done 169,000 miles, there's loads of service history. Literally just stacks of receipts and stuff. Which is all just what you want to see. We've even got, look at this, the original sales brochure. I assume that's what it is. Oh yeah, divine inspiration. They do big it up a bit, don't they? Cirencester, that's where it's come from, not Oxfordshire. Sorry, I just remembered. Oh, this is nice. I've just seen this note. Right. Coupe, a few notes. Doesn't need servicing for 10,000 miles. MOT until April 21. Has had cam belt 2 years ago, so you don't need to worry about that. That would have been done in 19. They're due every 10 years or 160k, and it was done at 90k. Tyre pressure monitor has been disabled. Good. Press and hold the mode button for a few seconds if you want to dark out or switch off the LED central screen. Can change ownership online rather than... Right, okay. Well, that's a handy little note there, isn't it? And then, have we got a service book anywhere? I think I was sent oh, there it is. I was sent photographs of the service book, so I do know it has one. And it's filled with stamps, apparently. 240 horsepower, this. And it's come from Orpington. It's Kent, isn't it, that? With its Bromley postcode. Right. I just never had one of these before with this 3-litre diesel engine, so I thought, why not? Cam belts replaced, 86, 2018. Another one at 124, another one at 133, another one at 140. So that was only just over a year ago. So like not even 18 months ago, and it had done 143, and it's now 169. It's been a very busy car than this, hasn't it? Very busy. But it is actually in really good condition. I mean, look at the back. In fact, let me show you the back. We've got mats on mats. It's immaculate, really. What about the boot? Pop the boot open. Oh, that's a good size. That's very good, actually. Needs a good clean back here, but it's all right. And I'm guessing, well, doesn't take a genius to work out. It's been to France, this car, because we've got a gilet jaune there, we've got a yellow vest, and we've got the UK sticker on the back. Someone's been abroad with it. Ed did say actually that one of the only faults with it, when you start it, the starter motor sort of squeals for a couple of seconds. Then it's all good. So let's fire her up, shall we? Brake pedal feels fine. We've got half a tank of diesel. There we go, that's the squeaking starter. Well, yeah, it's that 3-litre turbo diesel V6 that Jaguar Land Rover used. But I believe in the Peugeots, they weren't asking that much from them. So I don't think you have the same issues that you have with the crank snapping. Which is always good, isn't it? Never been smoked in. Let's just roll it out a little bit then so we can walk around it properly. This actually feels quite nice straight away. Let's have a look under the bonnet then, shall we? That typical annoying check strap noise and the... Is that double glazing? It is as well. Got double glazed windows, I didn't know it had that. Wonder what this would have cost new. Oh yeah, double glazing because it's started to frost up there. Like my Lexus actually, incidentally. Should have been a very expensive car new, wouldn't it? So it needs a very good detail clean. Everything's covered in plastic covers, so I can't see an awful lot. It's missing its screen wash reservoir cover there. Can order one of those. Right, okay then. Not an awful lot else I can tell you under here, really. It looks quite good. I suppose then we should get this out on the road, shouldn't we? See how it drives. I'm guessing quite well, to be honest. That engine's always quite silky smooth. And it's a big, comfortable Peugeot coupe, so it should be all right. Right, well, first time driving a 3-litre turbo diesel French coupe. So far, apart from a dodgy centre armrest, I'm quite impressed. I'm actually quite, I hate to say this, quite smitten with it. Just get rid of this annoying thing right in my line of sight. Oh no, it's not that easy. It's been... Forget that. I think someone super glued it to the windscreen. That engine is a gem, actually. You want to slow down a bit and your eye go. Gearbox is nice and smooth as well. I don't know why, well, I know why, because of the badge. I'm just expecting a load of warning lights to suddenly illuminate. But it's all right, this. What about my air conditioning, because it's rather warm? This is quite a nice car. You know, if you didn't know it was a Peugeot, you'd swear you're in a luxury car, honestly. The seats are nice and comfortable. It feels like I'm sat in an armchair. The gearbox is smooth. Engine pulls really well. This is nice. And so far, we still haven't got a warning light, so that's good going. But half tank of diesel, what I should do is do 300 miles on this and save myself £50. What do I do with it though? Let's try the windows. You know what, with those windows up, it's really quiet. Both windows work, we've got memory seats, electric mirrors. This is a good spec. What do we do then? Do we just go down the normal route then of service, MOT, see what my mechanic finds, maybe refurbish the wheels, get a little bit of paintwork done, maybe let Jimmy the Magician have a go at the mirror cover, and then do some, mind you, I could do the touch-ins myself. If I spent an hour on this with some T-cut, my little buffing machine, and some silver paint, I think I could make this look a bit prettier. Also, I've replaced the reg plates. And then, yeah, I mean, it's a very high mileage car, this. 170,000 miles. Isn't the sort of thing that I can retail, really. I just thought it'd be a fun little video. What do I do with it? It's a shame, you know, I don't know anyone that just wants a cheap motorway car, because this would be ideal. If you had to do a couple hundred miles a day in something, this wouldn't be a bad idea. So, let's talk numbers then. Right now it owes me £900. I think it cost me £190 plus VAT to get it brought up, so we're talking £1,100. If I could spend £400 on it, is that a bit optimistic? Let's say £500. If I give myself a budget of £500, this will owe me £1,600. I think I could probably get £2 for it. What do you reckon? Maybe 2.5? So there is a bit of profit there, isn't there? It just can't be sold with a warranty, that's the only thing. And then people get a bit funny, a bit uppity when we say, sorry, there's no warranty on that because it's done 169,000 miles. So I'm really not sure. I mean, I bought it now, haven't I? So there's no going back. And I am quite pleased with it. I would say my air conditioning works as well. It's not ice cold, but it's trying. It's doing something. This is all right. This is quite a clean car. Can't get over how quiet it is, you know. I really didn't expect it to have double glazing. Didn't think the French would think of such a thing. You know what, actually, it just makes me want to get a Citroen C6 on the channel. Well, I don't really know what to do with this now. Normally, I would take this for a mini valet and just get it cleaned up and then start the process. But it doesn't really need one. What I think I might do is run this down to my mechanic straight away and get them to crack on with some work. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm sick of being sat in these temporary lights, so we'll just head back to my mechanics. Service, MOT, possibly a couple of tyres because they're a bit low. And then just get on with the work. Then prestige wheels, a little bit of paint, screw some plates on, then take it to Tameside detailing for a valet. We've got a nice car. That's what I'm going to do. Leave it with me. Give me 10 days. I'll have an update for you. I'll hopefully have a nice, well-sorted French coupe. You know what excites me most about this car? I quite like having something that nobody else has got. And I can't remember the last time I saw one of these cars, let alone a 3-litre turbo diesel V6. So, quite unique, really. And I like that. I'm just not into big, flashy, expensive cars these days. The cars that excite me the most are just unusual ones like this. Anyway, leave this big, luxurious voiture with me and I'll spin it around. I'll see you in a bit. Well, we're back in my cheap Peugeot 407 Coupe, and I've got to tell you something. I don't think I've ever said this before about a Peugeot. I quite like it. It drives really well, this. Actually doesn't feel like you're in a Peugeot at all. It feels like you're in something far more luxurious. Ordinarily, whenever I'm in a Peugeot, the only thing I'm thinking of is I should have tried harder in school. But with this, it actually feels like I've succeeded. Yes, I know it was £900 and it's done 169,000 miles, but still, the feeling you get from it is one of, well, luxury. Anyway, let me talk you through the process with this then. So after we last spoke, I took it down to my mechanics, which wasn't far actually, and left it there for a service and an MOT. A couple of days later, it was all ready. My bill was slightly more than I anticipated. They found a couple of bits wrong with it, but nothing really major, which is a surprise really, isn't it, with 170,000 miles on the clock? So I was quite pleased with that. My bill was just shy of 500 quid, but still, not too bad really in the grand scheme of things. From there then, I picked it up and I took it over to Prestige Wheels. Now I was umming and ahhing about having the wheels done because, well, they were a bit scruffy and a bit scuffed, and I knew that by having them powder coated again, it would look as good as new. But with a car like this, I just didn't really know where to draw the line. Anyway, I bit the bullet and had them done, and they now look as good as new. So thanks Prestige for sorting that out. That was just shy of £300, but I think it was £300 well spent, genuinely. I know with these videos I work out what I've spent at the end when I park up somewhere scenic, usually near that bin at the top. But today I thought I'd just give you a bit of a running commentary. Now you don't need to be a mathematician to work this out already, but just shy of £500 at my mechanics, just shy of £300 at Prestige Wheels to have the wheels refurbished, is £800. I only paid £900 for the car. You can see where this is going, can't you? I can feel a massive overspend coming. When this Peugeot was ready at Prestige Wheels, I picked it up from there and I took it down to Jimmy to have the wing mirror painted. I didn't know, again, I could have gone massively overboard with this car, but I didn't really want to. I wanted to show some sort of restraint. So I just had the wing mirror painted and I took the GB sticker off the back and did some careful touch-ins. There's still a little bit of paint needed on the bottom of the door, but I'm not going to bother doing that. I think overall now the car looks very tidy. The very last job that I had done was to take it over to Tameside Detailing for a valet, and it's cleaned up really nicely. It wasn't particularly dirty before, but it has come up nice. These leather seats in particular, well, it doesn't seem like a car that's done 170,000 miles. Everything's in really good condition. All that's left for me to do now then really is try and find it a new home. But I could do with your advice on this really, because I don't know how much to advertise this car for. I mean, what's it worth? They're so rare, I really don't know what it's worth. On the bright side, it looks quite tidy now. It's got a fresh MOT, it's just had a fresh service, it's nice and clean, the wheels are immaculate. What's it worth? I was thinking, I think I'm going to advertise it for 2,495. You see, with the Auto Trader advertising package that I'm on, which I pay £6,500 a month for, by the way, you get free car spaces or free car adverts for cars priced under 2,495. So I thought well, £2,500 actually. So I thought if I priced this car at 2,495, then it qualifies for a free car advert. So I might do that. And I think for £2,500, it's quite a decent car for somebody. I'm not sure who yet. Granted, it isn't for everyone, but for somebody that had to do a load of miles up and down the motorway, perhaps, it would be quite a good idea. The hardest thing to try and overcome, I suppose, is the mileage, because it's a bit Buzz Aldrin-y, isn't it, at 169? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the moon 150,000 miles away? So this has literally been to the moon. Not and back, but to the moon and on its way back. I think I'll do that. I'll get it back to work, take some photographs of it and advertise it for 2,495 and see what happens. In the meantime then, let me work out what I've spent. Not really looking forward to this part. That'll do, right. Now, I paid £900 for the car. I think the transport to get it up from, I forget where it came from. I was going to say the Cotswolds, but I don't think it was. Somewhere down that kind of general area. I think that was £200. I think. My bill at my mechanics, in case you're interested. So it needed a tyre, one tyre, oil filter, oil, front brake pads, an offside front drop link, repair to bonnet latch, unblock the near side washer jet, labour, an MOT test fee. They've also advised the starter motor's noisy, which I knew anyway. I didn't bother replacing because it still works. It's just, you just have that noise for a second and a half. So my bill there was £440 and 68 pence. My bill at Prestige Wheels was £288. I nearly forgot reg plates. I treated this car to a fresh set of reg plates. They were £15. The full valet cost me £70. Why do I feel like I've forgotten something? I think that's it. I think that's it. So this car now owes me £1,913, 1913. The year before the First World War. 1913 and 68 pence. So if I can sell it for £2,500, there's a profit of around £587. It's not bad, is it, that, really? I'd be quite pleased with that. If I can keep a car like this on the road for a little bit longer and have £500 out of it, then result. So I think that's about it, guys, isn't it? Can't think of anything else to tell you. Only I'm quite impressed with the 407 Coupe, the 3-litre turbo diesel V6. Well, that was the 407 Coupe. Nowhere near as pretty as the Pininfarina designed 406 Coupe, but still, quite an interesting car. Again, I sold that one for a small profit and found it a nice new home. So I did my job there, I think. Next up on the list then is a cool quirky hatchback called the DS3. Now, you might think this is just an ordinary Citroen, but it isn't. Citroen have made DS their own standalone brand, but it all started off with this car. The original Citroen DS came out decades ago, and it was a really popular car back in its day. Many years later, Citroen decided to cash in on that name and make it its own brand. So now we have DS, which is its own mark in its own right. I'm not altogether sure what the DS brand stands for. It's certainly no sportier, but I think it might be maybe a bit more luxurious than the standard Citroen range. I would guess so anyway, but it all started with the Citroen DS3. Now the DS3 was essentially a fancier C3. Now I was never a big fan of the C3, but the DS3 I like quite a lot. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I'm in this 2016 Citroen DS3, or as it's now called, the DS. It's the same sort of naming strategy as Gary Neville's grandparents. It's a bit strange. As of 2015, they've dropped the Citroen name and tried to make DS a brand in its own right, which is a little bit odd. It's almost like Citroen wanted to distance the DS from all the other tat that they make and sell. In fairness, the whole DS range is pretty good. I say good, I'm talking just about the styling, because underneath they're just same old Citroens. But at least the styling is attractive and adventurous. The Citroen DS3 has been around since 2010, and it is showing its age a little. I loved the styling of this car when it came out. It was quite risky and brave. It would have been very easy of Citroen just to make some retro design, a bit like the Fiat 500 or the Mini. They could have made some sort of some like 21st century version of the 2CV, but they didn't. They made this, which was just new and modern looking. It embraces the future rather than harking back to the past. I just think as a piece of design, this DS3 looks really good. It looks far better than the dreary C3 on which this car was based. This particular late 2016 car has the facelifted front end, which looks far more modern. You can personalise the DS3s too. There are infinite combinations of different colour roofs, wing mirrors, wheels, all that sort of stuff. But I'd be very careful of that because, well, you just throw money away, to be honest, and it will affect its resale value. They do a wide range of engines in the DS3. There's a 1.4 or 1.6 litre petrol, which came from the BMW Mini, which aren't the most reliable engines. There's also a 1.6 litre diesel, which is very frugal, and also there's a 1.2 litre petrol, which is under the bonnet of this particular car. I was a little bit disappointed with it initially, but the more I drive it, the more I like it. It's quite a revvy little engine, and it's also more insurable and more affordable to run. Below 3,000 revs, it's a little bit lethargic, but between 3 and 5, it really comes to life. It's plenty nippy enough for a little city car like this. It's also quite a safe car, so if you're thinking of buying one of these cars for your son or daughter for the first car, you should sleep soundly. It scored a maximum of 5 out of 5 stars on its Euro NCAP safety rating, which was more than its rivals at the time. Which means at least when your kids hit a lamppost at 2 in the morning because they were too busy smoking and eating McDonald's and listening to Stormzy, they should survive, they should be alright. One downside with the DS3 is it was only available as a 3-door. They never sold it as a 5, which does make it slightly less practical than its 5-door rivals. Having said all that, there's more room in the back there than you might think. The boot's a very good size. The interior space in general is pretty good. Although there's not much storage inside, the door pockets are quite small. The glove box is pathetic. I think Citroen have taken the name glove box a little too literal. A pair of gloves is pretty much all you'll fit in there. There's not even enough room for the owner's manual, which is just annoying because now it's got to sit in the door card. Annoyingly though, there's only one cup holder and they've positioned it way back there, which means you've got to be double jointed just to get your water out. I'm sat here at 60 miles an hour on the dual carriageway, and normally for a small city car like this I'd be bouncing all over the place, I'd be blown from side to side. This is quite stable and quite comfortable. The seats are really thick, padded, supportive. It feels as though I'm in a much larger car. So if you did need this car to do the odd motorway journey, it's far better than any other small car I've driven recently. If you do lots of motorway journeys though, you're probably better off with the diesel because that engine's quite torquey, so it means that to overtake something you just don't need to change gear. There's enough power there just to propel you forward. Overall the interior is quite nice, it's quite stylish, it doesn't feel cheap and nasty. The materials they've used alright, some of it's plastic, but everything else they've tried to at least texture and make feel, you know, a little bit more premium and upmarket. You've got quite a sporty flat bottom steering wheel, which feels quite nice to touch. They've done a good job to make what is basically just a standard Citroen a little bit more upmarket and plush. You will have some quality issues though because it's a Citroen, so over time the surface of the buttons here will rub off, so you can't see which button does what. The key will break because they always do. The glove box will fall off in your hand. One of the folding mirrors won't open fully as it should. The armrest here, if you've got the optional armrest, that will break. The visors break. The engine management light will come on, that'll make a regular appearance. But fortunately, parts are quite cheap and accessible, and none of those things are too serious. They're all just niggles that you can live with. This model has this touchscreen infotainment system, which is pretty decent, but you'll soon discover that there are no buttons to control the radio. Down here you've got the volume, but there's no on or off button, which is a little bit strange. You've got a button down here with the DS logo on, but it's like that episode of Friends where they can't figure out what the light switch does. I just don't know what it does. It doesn't seem to make any difference. They have done a very good job with the seats though. They're really supportive and comfortable. For a small, cheap car, that is quite surprising. The sound deadening's pretty good. They've insulated it quite well, so you can't hear much road or wind noise, which again, on a small economy car, just makes it feel a little bit more luxurious. In terms of what it's like to drive, I didn't have high expectations for the DS3. I thought it was just going to be another dreary Citroen, but I was wrong because it's actually quite sporty and quite good fun to drive. It's not as fun and as sporty as a Mini, but then the ride's far better. But the engine's quite peppy and just wants to rev all the time. For a little 1.2 litre, it really is surprisingly quick. The steering is perfect, it's really sharp and direct and sporty. Gear change is nice and slick and crisp. I really am surprised with how this drives. It's also quite grippy. The seats do a good job of keeping you in your seat, even if you're going around the twistiest of bends. Honestly, this is one of the best handling and driving little economy cars I've driven for some time. In terms of running costs, they're very cheap to run, insure, fuel, tax. Across the board, whether you go for a petrol or a diesel. The road tax here in the UK on the diesels are completely free, so you don't pay anything at all. The petrols are still quite low. Fuel-wise, the diesels will do up to 70 miles per gallon. And the petrols are pretty good too, they're certainly not gas guzzlers. Used prices for early DS3s here in the UK start at around £2,500. Again, you're probably better off spending double that and getting a decent one with low miles and full service history. Reliability-wise, from my experience, French cars aren't the most reliable cars on the road. But parts are cheap and accessible and plentiful, so when it does break, and it will, at least it won't cost you an arm or a leg to repair. And the other thing to bear in mind, because they've been making them now for 10 years, there are plenty of them in scrapyards, so you'll be able to get used parts from there. I'm intrigued to see what the next generation DS3 will look like, because if it handles as well as this, and looks as modern and stylish, well, all the other Super Minis better watch out. So to sum up, it's a safe, stylish little car with plenty of charm and personality. It's almost as fun to drive as a Mini Cooper S without the horrendously hard ride. It's cheaper to repair than a Mini or an Audi A1, cheaper to buy than a Mini or Audi A1. So yeah, it's definitely got a lot going for it. If you're in the market for a small little city car, I'd definitely check out the DS3. So thanks once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. If you've got any comments or questions, let me know below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. I'll also leave the link to this advert below because this belongs to my colleague. It's on his website, so if you're interested, check it out. Well, that was the DS3, and since I filmed that review many years ago, I've had dozens more, and they've all been pretty decent cars. Next up on the list then, and I think you'll agree I've saved the best till last, it's the Renault Twizy. Just kidding. It's the Alpine A110. I don't know the exact facts here because sadly I'm driving and I can't check Wikipedia, but I think Alpine started out life in the 50s or 60s as their own brand. They had nothing to do with Renault at that time. Then they made a car, the original A10, which won loads of rallies and stuff. Then I think they went bust. Then Renault bought the brand name. Then many years later, they relaunched with the new A10. I've just seen one at the petrol station actually, and every time I see one, because they're so rare, it's quite an event. I really like them. This car that you're about to see was a press car. I had it on loan for a week. And before they dropped it off, my expectations were quite low, to be honest. I thought it was going to be like an RCZ. I thought it was going to look okay, but that would be it. Anyway, I was wrong. It completely blew me away. So much so I found myself looking at an Auto Trader trying to buy one. I haven't. I've since gone off the idea, but I was that smitten with it. I was just so smitten with it. I loved the way it looked, I loved the way it handled, I loved the noises it made. It was just a really cool car. No, it wasn't the most practical thing, but, you know, who cares? Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, today I've got something a little different for you. Behind me is this Alpine A110. And what it is, well, it's a breath of fresh air. In a world where sports cars are getting heavier, more digital and more complicated, this little Alpine refuses to follow the trend. It doesn't chase big horsepower or rely on trick differentials or adaptive dampers. Instead, it sticks to the one golden rule. Keep it light, keep it simple, make it fun. On paper at least, this is the purest driving car you can buy today. But does lightweight engineering still count in 2025? Let's find out, shall we? Before we get into that though, let me give you a quick history lesson. The Alpine A10 name goes back to the 1960s, when Alpine, at the time an independent French brand, built lightweight rear-engined rally monsters that absolutely dominated events like the Monte Carlo Rally. Many decades passed and eventually Renault bought the Alpine name, and now they're back, keeping the spirit of lightweight sports cars alive. There are some quite obvious signs of its Renault DNA, disappointingly. Namely this, the key. You get the same key as you'd find on a 2003 Renault Megane, which is a bit disappointing to be honest. Although you do at least get a nice leather pouch for it. It's not too bad. They could have done a better job there though. Also, the indicator stalks and the audio controls are straight out of an old Clio. Anyway, let's not get bogged down with the Renault parts bin specials because the rest of the car is actually very good. Styling wise, I'll be honest, I was never really convinced. These cars came out in 2017, so they have been on the road now for a good 7 or 8 years. And although you don't see them every day, they are quite rare. Every time I've seen one, I've thought, I'm not sure if that works. But now having spent a couple of weeks with this, I've changed my mind. I think it's a really good looking car. When you look at the original A110 from the 60s, I think this is the perfect modern interpretation of that. They haven't overdone it. I think it's just perfect. Although it's unapologetically a new version of the old A110, you can see other cars in it as well. For example, this front angle here reminds me very much of the 90s Celica. I think it was the GT4. This here, this sort of menacing headlight, is very much Jaguar F-Type. Standing at the side as well, I can see a little bit of R8. Because it's mid-engine, you obviously need some ventilation. Now these vents here are very reminiscent of a 911. The back reminds me very much of that Rolls-Royce boat tail concept. Overall though, it works. I think it's a really well thought out design, and it turns a lot of heads. This gets a lot of attention, especially in this colour. I think it's called Glacier Blue, and it's beautiful. This car's proof that with clever engineering, you don't need some silly, over-the-top, obnoxious, Fast and the Furious style ironing board spoiler on the back. Instead, what you get is an actual clever diffuser down here, which keeps you nice and planted. I also like the single exhaust. I love the design of the wheels, and you get some nice matching calipers. I also like this little air intake here, which feeds cold air straight into the engine. It's just a nice, clever design. You also got the French tricolour there, tricolor. Quite often, modern interpretation of old cars can be retro just for retro's sake, but this isn't. This is a really clever design. Although it's a small car, it isn't completely impractical. You could use this for a long weekend away, as long as you don't mind wearing the same clothes on day 1, day 2, and day 3. But if you'd rather not wear your pants inside out, there are 2 boots in which you can store maybe another pair. Have a look at this. If you're used to travelling Ryanair, you might think this is quite accommodating. Have a look. That's your boot. And one word of warning, it does get quite hot in there. Because of its proximity to the engine, whatever you put in there will be quite warm. So maybe don't put your egg mayonnaise sandwiches in there, because you might have a bad stomach. There is another boot as well, let me show you that. So that's up front. You probably could, at a push, get 2 carry-on cases in there. While I'm here actually, I should point out the quad LEDs. I know that's a nod to the original A110, but I like it. Looks really good. Right, let me tell you about the inside then, before I turn the same colour as the car. Well, as soon as you get in the Alpine, you'll notice it's very driver focused. You only get what you really need with this. You can tell it's made for the racetrack. And to be perfectly honest with you, I hate cars like that. And I say that because most people use the cars to drive to work or drive to the shops. You don't need a 3-point racing harness. But at least with the Alpine, they have tried to find a happy medium. For example, these fixed bucket seats that you can't adjust, by the way, are at least finished in nice Alcantara and quilted leather. The only way you can adjust these seats, by the way, is forward or back. That's it. You get some nice carbon fibre touches. I love this quilted leather on the door panel. I also love the nice leather door handles. I also like the fact that they've brought the exterior colour into the interior. Now on a cheaper hatchback like a VW Up, for example, that always reminds me of cost cutting, but with this I think it's a nice addition. My biggest gripe with this car so far, and there's no real way around it, is the lack of storage. There just isn't any. There's no storage in the door cards, there's no glove compartment, these armrests here don't lift up like a Porsche. You get this little storage compartment here, which is big enough for your slender key. There we go, now that area is full. There's this area down here, but accessibility is, well, it's quite poor. And there's no wireless charging mat either. You'd have thought this would have a wireless charger, but no. There's some storage back here, which I use to keep my wallet and keys and my Y-Foods bottle. But that is about it. The overall build quality of the interior, in some areas, is a little questionable. This centre console here is very nice. You've got the window controls, the engine start button, the handbrake and the gear selectors. But look at this. There's way too much flex. And you probably will hear this rattling while I'm driving. And a bit like me, it's got a screw loose. I don't know where that's come from, but it's not exactly encouraging. There's also no glove compartment, so Rover owners wouldn't be happy. There's nowhere for the string back driving gloves. You get these nice switches here, which look nice and expensive. You'd expect them to be very weighty. They're not. If you put your finger under them, they're just cheap moulded plastic. They've got the sort of quality of a Kinder Egg toy. Although I'm sure Alpine would argue that's all about weight saving, and this is a very light car. This whole car only weighs 1,100 kilos. I'm not sure about Alpine, they should have called it the Eccentric. Anyway, enough talking, let's get it on the road, shall we? Like I said, I've always hated cars like this. They're too focused on one thing, and that just doesn't make them a good everyday car. As such, I wasn't particularly excited at the prospect of having this for 2 weeks. Whenever we get a new car dropped off, me and my team are always fighting for the keys, but that wasn't the case with this Alpine. I just wasn't that bothered. I took one look inside at these seats and I kind of knew what it would be like, or at least I thought I did. I thought it'd be stiff, uncomfortable and impractical. I thought yes, it might be good fun on a twisty road on a Sunday morning, but on my commute from the city centre out to Stockport, I thought it'd just be a pain in the neck. You see, I like a bit of luxury. I like a nice soft ride. I don't like a stripped out sports car. However, I've instantly fallen in love with the little Alpine. I just can't get enough of it. And that's just been a total surprise. I really didn't expect to like it. It's so much fun to drive, it handles like it's on rails, it sounds great, and it's quick enough without being dangerous. It really compliments you. It makes you think you're a far better driver than you actually are. Every time I drive this car, I feel like my last name's Hamilton or Schumacher. I found it to have the perfect amount of traction as well, which is also known as not quite enough traction. It's really good fun. Good job, bad traction then. This is tricky actually. This is a good challenge for the little Alpine because I don't have a reverse camera or sensors and I'm backing up a very narrow country road. Rear visibility is poor to say the least, but I'm doing an alright job, I think. That's partly because the Alpine's such a narrow little car. You can't really get in too much bother with it. Watch me back straight into a Massey Ferguson now. No, we're doing alright. There we go. Voila, as they say in France. Well, Transit. Is that Mark 1? It's cool. Before I continue with this video, I just need to say a quick thank you to today's video sponsor. Now, if you're in the market for a used Alpine or a used car or a used motorbike, then you need to do a thorough vehicle history check before you hand over any cash. I always use a company called Car Vertical because I just find them really thorough. It's really easy to use and it isn't expensive, and it's cheaper still if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK, and you'll save yourself 20% off each and every check that you do. As you can see then, all you need to do is go to carvertical.com, I'll leave the link below in the video description, but carvertical.com and type in the reg or the VIN. Now this isn't just a UK thing either, it works in over 35 different countries. So it searches thousands of databases to make sure it's never been stolen, written off, had a mileage rollback or has outstanding finance on it. In addition to that, it shows you the average market value, the ownership changes, the reg plate changes, the spec. Sometimes if it has been involved in an accident, it shows you photographs of the recorded damage, so it's a really useful tool. It also shows you the average market value and what to look for. And also, you can use Car Vertical to book in a proper check, a proper inspection of the car before you hand over any money. So make sure you do a thorough vehicle history check before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike. And yeah, don't forget to use my promo code HIGHPEAK for 20% off. So yeah, cheers Car Vertical for sponsoring today's video. Back to little Alpine then. Pop her in sport mode. I've also found the steering to be just about perfect. It's got a very quick steering rack, so the smallest of adjustments have quite a big outcome. Of course, the downside to that is the turning circle's pretty atrocious. What this isn't is a London black cab. It's got the turning circle reminiscent of a Volvo V70. But still, it's small enough that that's never really too much of an issue. You know what I love most about this car though? Is the fact it's just so simple. And that's the very reason I thought I'd hate it. It's funny, isn't it? It just shows really, I shouldn't have any sort of prejudice really, any preconceived ideas, because this has just blown them out of the water. I really thought the fact this is a bit of a bare bones sports car, a track focused car, I just thought I'd hate it. But that's actually one of the reasons I love it. I love the simplicity. You know, most modern cars I drive these days are just a pain in the neck. Every 5 minutes they just beep and bong and shout at you. I always make this same old joke, but they're like being in a car with hyacinth bouquet. Mind the pedestrian there, Richard. Mind the cyclist. Yes, I know. I don't need technology to tell me to stay in my lane or tell me there's a car in front. I can see there's a car in front. But the Alpine is refreshingly simple. The first thing I do in most modern cars is try and switch all that nonsense off. But with the Alpine, you don't have to, because it just doesn't have it. This car's a classic case of what you see is what you get. This car's all about driving pleasure, and it just makes a really nice change. I also love how small and nimble it is. Again, most cars these days are just big bloated heffalumps. This isn't. This is like a little mosquito. It just zips around. Feels nice and playful. What this car really is, actually, is just a toy. And again, I just find that refreshing. Something else that's superb on this car is the gearbox. It uses a 7-speed twin-clutch gearbox, and the changes are instantaneous. It changes gear before you can even think about it. It is so quick. And it isn't really jerky around town either, or when you're trying to park it. It isn't easily confused like some twin-clutch gearboxes can be. The performance is great too. It's got a little 1.8 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder, and it's superb. It produces about 250 horsepower, and it's capable of 155 miles an hour, so it's plenty quick enough. But like I say, it never feels like too much power. It never feels like a handful. It feels really planted and sure-footed. And it handles like it's on rails. This feels like an excited puppy on a walk. It just wants to go all the time, especially when it's in sport mode. I've done hundreds of miles in this car, from city centre driving to motorway cruising, and it does it all really well. Even at 70, 80 miles an hour on the motorway, you can still have a conversation without raising your voice. And that's something even a 911 can't do, which is twice the price of this. With its 252 brake horsepower, this will do 0 to 62 in 4.5 seconds, so it is properly quick. That's actually as fast as an Audi S5 or a BMW 340i. And the key to this little car's performance, of course, is its slim waistline. Of course, it only weighs 1,100 kilos, which means, as a result, it's also quite good on fuel. I filled this car up before and it was completely on fumes. It was, well, there was almost no fuel in it at all, and it only took £57, so it's quite inexpensive to run. I've been averaging 35 miles per gallon as well, which is quite impressive, isn't it? You could compare this to a Porsche Cayman. They are very similar. But in comparison, the Porsche Cayman looks like a bit of a bloater. That weighs 300 kilograms more than the little Alpine. You don't have to be flat out with this car to enjoy it. Even at normal, sensible speeds, it just feels alive. You feel really connected to it. What shocked me most about this car, though, is the ride. I thought it was going to be dreadful. I thought it was going to feel like I was sitting on a skateboard going down a cobbled street, but it doesn't. It's perfectly comfortable. So much so you even forget what you're in. These seats, for example, I know they're completely inflexible, but they're totally comfortable. I spent 5 hours in this yesterday driving all the way over to Grantham in Lincolnshire and back. And when I got back, I was fine. No aches, no pains, no stiffness. The brakes are very good as well. Watch this. It will rip your face off. That's kind of what you want in a car like this. Something nippy and agile and quick. You want to be able to stop on a sixpence. I've noticed as well, and this is quite hard to not notice really, it gets an awful lot of attention, this. You drive this around the city, well, drive it around anywhere, people stop and stare, because they're just so rare. And what's really good as well is you don't feel like a bell end in it. I don't think it stinks of midlife crisis like some of its rivals. You know, it's not a cringy flash supercar. People look at you in this, but I think that's for the right reasons. Every time I've parked it up somewhere or stopped for fuel, people ask questions about it, just because they haven't seen one before. Even though this car's been on the market since 2017. It isn't perfect though by any means. I do have a few gripes. As a toy car, a weekend car, a second or third car, then I think it's about perfect. But as an everyday car, it's missing a few crucial things. For starters, there's no cup holder, and that's really irritating. I've been using this to drive to work and I've got nowhere for my iced latte. I know I might sound like a diva there, but it is important. Also, I can forego the heated steering wheel and heated seats, but I'd quite like a reverse camera, or at the very least parking sensors. And this base model doesn't have that. I know what you're going to say, Matt, you really don't need parking sensors in a car the same size as a training shoe, but I disagree. Because the rear visibility is so poor, you could really do with some sensors or at least a camera. I'm pretty sure a little camera wouldn't have added that much weight. The rest of my gripes really come down to build quality. Some annoying squeaks and rattles. The infotainment system's a bit poor as well. It's a bit laggy. It doesn't respond very well. And you've got to really press firmly before anything works. It's just a bit annoying. Something else that ticks me off is the ticking noise from the indicators. If you close your eyes, which you probably shouldn't do while you're driving, but if you were to close your eyes, you'd think you're in a Renault Clio. Also, as I mentioned at the start of this video, the key is awful. Anyone will think you've got a 2003 Renault Megane. They could have really done a better job with the key. It's a bit poor, that. Oh, something else, the sound system isn't great. It sounds a bit tinny and a bit cheap. But when all's said and done, none of those things would put me off buying one. I've just completely fallen for this car. Unusually, I just don't want to give it back. So this little Alpine has been a total surprise. It just goes to show you shouldn't judge a book by the cover. I'm quite chuffed, really. I quite like to be proved wrong. What this is then is a car which feels completely alive. It isn't totally ruined by technology, like most new cars are. One word of warning though, I think if you're a bigger build than I, you might struggle to get in and out of it. I've been alright with it. I'm like 5'10", 5'11". I don't even know what I weigh these days, like 11 stone or something. I've got plenty of room, plenty of headroom, plenty of leg room, plenty of elbow room. It's perfectly fine, but if you're slightly bigger, slightly larger, I think you might struggle. Most manufacturers these days have got some sort of arms race going on in terms of brake horsepower. They've got to outdo each other. We've got to the point now where things have just got silly. Things are too quick. But this little Alpine is completely ripped up the rule book. It hasn't followed the crowd. This plays the power to weight game perfectly. What I also love about this car is the noise it makes. Now, although it might only have a little 4-cylinder petrol engine, and it's turbocharged, which is a bit of a surprise because the noise it makes is almost like a supercharger whine. I don't know if my microphone will pick this up, but it's a really sort of intoxicating sound. If you floor it now, look, watch this. It's properly quick, this thing. It's so much fun. You've also got these manual paddles on the column as well, so you can change the gear yourself. And when you do, you get little pops and bangs. I don't like those pops and bangs when it's on a Golf R or some sort of Seat FR or something, because they're a bit Asbo-y, aren't they? But on this, I think it's quite characterful. This 7-speed gearbox, by the way, is superb. For years, I've always hated these kinds of cars, these sorts of track-focused cars, because I've always just written them off as being one-trick ponies. But the little Alpine A110 is not a one-trick pony. I also quite like the fact that it's unique. I've never driven an Alpine before. It's quite nice to drive something and look down at the steering wheel and have an unfamiliar badge. Let's talk about price then, because unfortunately this isn't a cheap car. The one I'm in today comes in at just under £55,000, and that is an awful lot of money. The trouble with the Alpine, and I've been trying to get my head around this, the rivals have all got just a better badge, really. It's just a more appealing proposition to buy something like a Porsche 718 Cayman or Boxster. Or, you know, something like a Toyota GR Supra, which underneath is a BMW. It's a tricky one, isn't it? I love this car, don't get me wrong, but if I was spending £55,000 of my own hard-earned cash, I think I'd be... I don't know. I don't think I'd stop by the Renault garage. And that, I suppose, is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing insofar as many people won't be able to experience these cars because there'll just be so few of them on the road. But on the bright side, they'll remain very rare. Because these have been around for 7 or 8 years, I've had a quick look on Auto Trader to see if I could find a decent used one. And surprisingly, they hold the money very well. I saw a 2018 with around 35,000 miles and it was still going for 32 grand. So I mean, on the plus side, if you buy one new, you're not going to lose a fortune in depreciation. Because I'd never looked at these cars, I'd honestly never considered one. I was kind of hoping that I could find maybe a 2018 for about 20 grand. But at 20 grand, I think, I could just about justify it. But at 32 and a half, forget it, I can't really. It would actually make more sense to buy a new one, really, for an extra £20,000. You get the full official warranty and 0 miles on the clock. One more quick point there before I wrap this video up. Most new cars, and I know I shouldn't generalise, but most new cars are all very similar. But this little Alpine, though, on the other hand, is different. Different in a good way. It's proof that you can still buy a fun driver's car that isn't completely ruined by silly driver aids. And that's cheered me up, really. Well, that was the Alpine A110, and I hope you enjoyed watching that video as much as I did making it. Although I don't think that's possible, really. I love that car. So it kind of proves that I was wrong. Not all French cars are bad. Some are very good, actually. It's just I get it in my head that all cars are Renault Scenics or Citroen C4 Picassos or Peugeot 3008s with that hideous semi-auto gearbox. But they're not all bad. So I think that's it for today's video, but if you'd like to see one of these country-based car compilation videos, let me know which country you'd like to see featured in the comments below. We're heading to Spain next, and I thought, oh, I could do one of these there, but there's only really Seat. I suppose the obvious answer is Germany, isn't it? Or England. Or America. Or Japan. There are quite a few choices actually, aren't there? Right, anyway, I'm just rambling now. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, cheers guys. See you next time.